Lots of good questions this morning, Bhante. The first one is this. The Blessed One often talks about here and now deliverance. What does this mean?
Here?
Here and now. Isn't that Akalika?
Here and now, yes.
Here and now deliverance.
Yes. That is very true. We can see this is a very profound statement and good question. And we must sincerely, directly, honestly try to understand the meaning of this here and now. That is the present moment. In Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha asks us to be in the present moment. Parimukhaṁ satim upattapetva. Establishing mindfulness in the present moment. Present moment is the real moment that we really live. We live in the present moment, which is however, does not exist. We talked about the present moment. Present moment also is a fleeting moment, disappearing moment. Present moment arises depending on what we call the past and the future. When we think of the past and think of the future, we can think of the present. But the past is gone, future is not come yet, and the present also is shifting, disappearing. So this is a very important point for us to see how quickly things disappear, how quickly things become impermanent. Now, not seeing this is ignorance, and also not seeing this, we build up the future and experience suffering. This is sometimes called samudachara tanha, craving or desire that perpetuate this moment, also continues to repeat again and again in this life, and at the same time, because of our ignorance, we try to hold on to this moment. And this not being able to stay in this moment, holding our suffering, and this very inability to hold on to anything perpetuates itself. It repeats itself from this moment to next moment to this moment to next moment to next moment, and this life to next life, and so on. That's called Vatta Tanha, craving for repeating, not knowing that it is so quickly changing. And therefore, we talked about also the cycle of existence, samsara, vatta. I think you remember when we talked about the samsara vatta, cycle of repetition, and when you have a cycle or wheel, repetition of circle, we said that you cannot find a beginning or end of that cycle. And that is what Buddha mentioned in Anamatanda Sanyutta, Pubbha Kojana Pranyati Avidyacha Bhavatannācha. Ignorance and because of ignorance and craving, the beginning of this repetition is indiscernible. However, now having said that, Buddha taught the Dhamma. If somebody were to stick there and stays there and ask a logical question, if the beginning is indiscernible and why the Buddha taught the Dhamma? Buddha taught the Dhamma to show how to break that cycle. To break that cycle, you have to see the beginning point or ending point. Surely you cannot see the beginning, but you can see the end. How can you see the end? When you see in the present moment, you can see the present moment is appearing and disappearing, appearing and disappearing. When we gain insight into this reality, this insight, this wisdom itself is the way to break the cycle. To break the cycle. And nobody in the past, before the Buddha, or even after, other than the Buddha, who was able to break this repetition by seeing the impermanence happening in this very moment. Once you realize this, then whole path is unraveled to us, open to us. This is right view, seeing this truth exactly as it is. Here and now, this very moment, we have to break this cycle. You cannot postpone it to next life or life after. You can never break the cycle. If you don't see this, you simply get caught in the cycle and repeat again and again. But the Buddha was so wise, so enlightened, that he saw the way to break this cycle. That is, remove this ignorance of not seeing what is happening right now, this very moment. And therefore, it is absolutely necessary for us to pay total attention to what is happening now. What is happening now in us? People talk about what is happening in the society, in politics, in COVID-19, and this sickness, that sickness, and so forth and so on. All these are just groping in the dark and ignoring what we are supposed to, what we are trying to break through. We should try to break through this repetition of birth and death and so forth, repetition of these aggregates, 5 aggregates and so forth. Only when we break through this and seeing what is happening now, this very moment, in us, in our body, feeling, perception, thought and consciousness, nowhere else. These are the material, all material we have. And this reality is taking place in this material, within this, in this factory, so to say. And therefore, we have to isolate this very incident, very, very, very reality. It is the most subtle thing, subtle moment for us to realize, understand through the deep wisdom and insight, mindfulness and concentration. Concentration is like a laser beam. Mindfulness is like the clear eyesight. This I just used. Using this insight, mindfulness, and that concentration, we can penetrate this cycle in this very life, here and now. And that is what, in brief, what here and now means. And that is what here and now Buddha meant in many, many, many places. And the discourse I started talking yesterday is exactly that. Bhagdek Mahakajjan Bhagdek Ratha Sutta. I have not explained all these things in detail yesterday, but I will continue it tomorrow. Next question.